Study a Gemara this Leil Shishi, this before Shabbos Kodesh. I want to study Reb Joshua Gemara together. That I think there's a tremendous amount to learn from this Gemara. There's a very specific achana. We're in the weeks. We're holding mamish, getting close to the precious Chag of Shavuos, and we're gearing up. We're ready. We're gearing up for this precious Chag of Shavuos, and in our hachana for Kabbalah Torah, there's a lesson that I see in this Gemara that I want to share. It's a lesson of what it means to be a Mekabel Torah. What does that mean? What does that look like to be a Ben Torah, which we're all striving? The nation that accepted the Torah, that's Yisrael Vayrais Achadu, that's one with the Torah. I think this Gemara, to me, is very instructive. I see something in this Gemara, an idea that was very, very big by my Rabbi, that I want to share with everybody here. So let's study this Gemara. It's a Gemara Mem Dalet Amud Beis in Sukkah. Last week's Parsha already, Bahar, dealt with Shemitah, and this is a Gemara that deals with Shemitah. And the Gemara says as follows. Amar Ayevoi says, Havi ke'imna kameid Rebbe Elazar bar Tzadok. I was in front, I was Kayim, I was standing there, Havi ke'imna kameid Rebbe Elazar bar Tzadok. I was in front of Rebbe Elazar bar Tzadok, Asala kameyahu gavra. And a man shows up in front of Elazar bar Tzadok. It's the interesting zechus of being around tzaddikim. He was around Rabbi Elazar bar Tzadok, and he says, Ahu Gavra, a man shows up. Part of the treat about being around tzaddikim are drawn to tzaddikim. And part of the treat about being around tzaddikim is since they're serving with sincerity, they're serving Hashem with erluchkeit, interesting people show up. It's just how it works. I'll tell you a maisa. I'll tell the chevra a maisa. My Rebbe's father, who was my Rebbe's Rebbe, his tata was one of the first Rebbeim in his life. My Rebbe's father was a Rav in Ozone Park, near Queens. And it was a kehillah of Yidden who didn't know a lot about Yiddishkeit. They were working to get closer to Hashem. He was inspiring his seber to keep Torah and mitzvahs. Friday night, Leil Shabbos, they had no minyan in the shul. My Rebbe told us, I have to ask the mishpacha the exact details, but my Rebbe told me that his father had no minyan in the shul Friday night. He didn't want anybody to drive to shul. The minyan Shabbos day, so beseder, so people walked to shul. To have it at night, it was an older tzibur, and he was worried somebody would drive to shul. So Friday night, there was no minyan. And he would daven, my Rebbe's father would daven with the children. The kids, most of them weren't bar mitzvah age. They would daven sazam, and they would daven, no minyan, but they would daven. Ibadafka had no minyan, no adults were invited. It was for the kids. This way nobody drove, the kids would walk, and after they would daven together, they would go to his house for the Suda every Leil Shabbos. Wow. There's a big Rosh Hashiva who told me this Maisa. This Rosh Hashiva today was a very close friend of my Rebbe. He was maspid, he eulogized my Rebbe at the Levaya, and he told me this story. He was one of the kids who would eat with my Rebbe. And they would daven together, and then they would eat with my Rebbe's father. They would eat at his house. Comes every single Leil Shabbos, this would go on. Friday night, they would have they would daven. After davening, they gleich. Right after davening, they walked home. Comes one week, Yehuda. I told you this story already, Yehuda? I told this Maisa. Comes one week, and they daven together. And they're all ready to go. My parents' father says to the chevra, all of you go to my Rebbe, go to the home, and start the Suda. I need to stay in shul. They didn't know, but the Rebbe said this. They did it. He sends them all home to his Rebbetzon's house, and he's staying in shul. About an hour later, he shows up. with a yid with a lange bird, they thought Mashiach came. He mamish came with some tzaddik to the house. What happened? It turned out this yid was on the way back from a levaya Erev Shabbos. There was crazy traffic on the Van Wyck. All the New Yorkers amongst us, like Shaker had knowing, who hasn't been stuck for a nice amount of hours on the Van Wyck? And there was a big traffic jam on the Van Wyck, and this yid saw he wasn't going to make Shabbos. He pulled over on the side of the road, and he left his car, and he asked to find a place for Shabbos. He was stuck on the road. He went to a candy store, and he looked up the yellow pages of shul, and he found this shul, an Orthodox shul. And he walked, by the time he got to the shul, it was an hour after davening. And the Yid told the kids, nobody knew. There was nobody had cell phones back then. He showed up to a shul. Lemaisa Punkt, the Rav, was waiting there alone. The Rav met him, and together they came to his house. It was like a maifus. They don't know how he knew that Friday night to stay in shul, that a yid would be lost, but he waited in shul, and he brought the yid home. It's a good mice, and I'm saying over Geshmak of Sayyid Hashem Liureya, Tzadikim have a siyata d'shmaya. What I am bringing out is they ended up getting, the Talmidim got to meet this tzaddik, who eventually became a family member. They became a chutanim eventually. But my point is, when you're around tzaddikim, you get to meet all different interesting yidden that also gravitate to the tzaddik. Over the years, I was zeicha to meet many special people. Being around a person, like my Rabbi, a sincere person, it magnets other sincere people, so I met a lot of special people. Here, Ayevoy says, I was around Rabbi Elazar Bar Tzadok, Asla Kamei Hau Gavra. Being around Rabbi Elazar Bar Tzadok accesses you to interesting people, to other special yidden. And this fellow shows up. Amar Lei. And the fellow says to Rabbi Elazar Bar Tzadok, Kir Yasa Isli, I own a village. He's a reiche mensch, a wealthy dude, wealthy guy. He said, I own a village. Kir Yasa Isli, I own a village. Kir Maya Isli, and I own vineyards. He owns vineyards. Zeisaya Isli, and I own olives. So I have a city, I have a kerem, and I own olive trees. That's this guy has. Asu b'nei Kir Yasa. People from my village come. Umikashkeshim b'Kir Maya. It was on Shemitah. On Shemitah, you're not allowed to work your fields. But there's a type of work that you're allowed to do. Typically on Shemitah, amazingly, Klal Yisrael leaves their field fallow. They don't work the fields. But there is, the Gemara explains later on, there's something called kishkush that you're allowed to do. Kishkush is to turn over the soil near trees. It's a type of plowing, but it's not a full-fledged plowing. The purpose of kishkush is to move the soils, the trees shouldn't die. And you're allowed to do that on Shemitah. You're not allowed to plow in a way that allows for planting, but you could do a little bit moving of the soil, kishkush, that allows that the trees don't die. So says this wealthy yid that the people of my village come, umikashkeshim b'Kir Maya, and they do this little light work that they mush around the dirt near my trees in order that my trees shouldn't die. And then they eat my olives. Now, here's the Chaim Rabbi say. You hear what they do? The people of his village, the olives are all hefker at Shemitah. Now, Reb Josh, the guy is not allowed to take the olives and use it to pay workers. Chas v'shalom, at Shemitah. He doesn't own the olives. He'd be a literal thief. He'd be a con artist. If he took those olives as if there is his own and used it to pay his workers, it would mamish be an Isser Gomer. But what happens is he's not paying anybody anything. Yidden are heilig, Yidden are tzaddikim. And the Yidden come to his kerem, Yidden are caring, they have a relationship to this guy. Even if they didn't, we're a precious ummah. So what the Yidden do is they do a little work on the field. They're such precious Yidden. They don't want to just take his asim for free. We want to give a service. So they do a little kishkush. They till the soil, they do something geschmack for him, and then they take the zaysim, which they're entitled to, because it's shmita, it's hefker. But to the eye, it looks like he's paying them with the zaysim. So it doesn't look good, Shmuley. You know what I'm saying, Shmuley? It looks bad. It looks like for their work, they're getting zaysim. That's not what's happening at all. They're working because they're Heilige Yidden who just want to help another Yid out. They could really just run, take zaysim, and book. But they come to his field, they do a little kishkush. What's Yid just wants to take? We're a nation of givers. So they do some kishkush, they help out the balabayas, they have a relationship with him. They do a little, they move around the soil epis, and then they take the zaysim. Say, by lahalacha, says the Aruch L'ner, mutter legamri. There's no isser here. Ask the Yid to Rabbi Lazar bar Tzadok, arich ayla yarich. Doesn't say mutter aser. Arich ayla yarich. Says Rashi, arich, toiv lasais ken ayla. Is it okay to do this? They don't ask mutter or aser. They ask a deeper question. Arich, is it erlich? Is it right? Is this what Hashem wants from me? Of course, we study Torah. Of course, there are things aser and mutter. But a yid whose way of learning Torah, a yid who's just full of Yirah Shamayim, has Yirah Shamayim, fear, but a fear-based service, says, am I going to get punished for this? Is it aser? Is it mutter? Is it right? A yid living without relationship, there's nothing wrong. They want schar. We all want schar. We're going to get harbe schar. We all don't want to get einshim, and there's einshim for transgression. But a yid could ask aser or mutter. But Kabbalah Satira, we're shaykh to more than that. We're actually shaykh to connect to Torah, to relate to Torah, to be energized by Torah. Is this what Hashem wants? You can actually connect and understand the tzivui, and you can actually ask, is this the way I'm supposed to live? It's deeper than will I be punished or not. Aser or mutters, I don't want to start up. I don't want to get punished. Aser, I'm afraid. Aser or mutters, I want schar, and that's good to want schar, and it's good to be afraid to be punished. But I want to say that we're capable of more. We're actually capable of connecting to Torah and mitzvahs. It can mean something to us. Arich Hayla Yarich is a gorgeous yid who asks, is this what Hashem wants? It's not us, so it's mutter legamri, but I'm excited by something. I connect and relate. It's an emestikkeit, it's an ehrlichkeit, it's an honesty. It's something he's passionate about. Is this what Hashem wants or not? Arich Hayla Yarich. That's what this yid asks. I'm going to discuss this further in a few minutes. Amar lei, so Rabbi Lazar bar Tzadok, lo yarich. It's not yashras. Doesn't look good. It's mutter. Lo yarich. It's not what Hashem wants. And all of a sudden, Adikashavik leva azal, the yid disappears. Bizarrely. He asks questions. You'll see in a second. He's going to come back soon. The yid like books. The yid just disappears. He says, it's not mutter. A friend of mine, Rav Simcha Stern Shlita, a friend of mine told me about a certain yid. There's a tzaddik we both appreciate a lot. He said if somebody talks Lashon Hara to this yid, he just disappears. You don't see him. He runs. He's not in the room. You're like in the middle of talking to him. Where'd he go? Veinenu, he just gone. The yid's like so allergic to Lashon. This yid, he says, it's not Beseder, and the yid's gone. Says the Aruch L'ner, all the Talmidim, it was like bizarre. The Yid booked, just fled. So the Talmidim thought it was like a tantrum. He didn't like the psak of the Rav. You know, you go to the Rav and he tells you don't want to hear. You go to the Dayan, so you book. Chas v'sholom. So the Talmidim thought it looked. The Yid like ran. He just disappears. So people thought. The stam to think it is he's protesting the psak. Amar Rabbi Elazar bar Tzadok says to the assembled, Kadu ayisi dairi bara hada mem shanim. I have lived in this city 40 years. I've been in this city. I never saw a person go in the derech hayashar kedain like this guy. Don't be chayshiv b'kshem. He booked, but he's not rejecting the psak. I never met a guy more yashar than this guy. And then the yid comes back in, bizarrely, and Amar lei, my mi'evid, what should I do? He forgot to ask the first time, what should I do? And Amar lei, Sir Elazar bar Tzadok says, Afkir zesa, be mafkir the zesim l'chushchaya ta'aniyim, the tame pritai l'kashkushe karamim. Tell all the chevra who like you that when they dig, I'm paying you. Don't take the zeisim are hefker. If you dig on my field, I'm going to pray you. Anybody who does work this way, it shouldn't be they do work and take zeisim, which is marasayin. It looks like you're paying them. Say whoever digs, I'm paying money, and the zeisim are hefker franim. That's what he told him to do. Says the Aruch L'Ner. So why did the guy leave and come back, ask what to do? Says the Aruch L'Ner, what the guy did is he ran home. The Rav said, it's not Beseder. And the Yid booked, and he runs to the field. I don't know if it was an hour away, if it was 7 hours away, 5 minutes, I have no idea. But the Yid runs home, says, Chevra, stop! Everybody's like, whoa. So he said, what should we do? He said, I don't know, just stop. Goes back to the Rav, what should we do? The Rav tells him, tell everybody that you're going to pay them. But he ran to stop them from doing kishkush. We see here a rizus, an alacrity. What a zars. He's told that, remember, it wasn't erluch. There was no isser. It's doch asser, you run home and you say, it's no isser. It's not what Hashem wanted. Now I want to say to the chevra like this. You see in this amazing Yitzrizus, an alacrity of fire. He's a zazaris, and we see that he wants to know aruch or lo aruch. Is it the right thing or not? And I want to connect these two things. I want to say a yid who's afraid. I don't want to do what's wrong. If that's your avodas Hashem, I don't want to be punished. And I'm not making fun of it. It's not a good yid. He is afraid of einshim. There's a madrega to that. A yid wants schar. It's a good yid. He wants schar. There's a good yid. But you're not going to have this type of rizus. That by its nature will not be a fire. It can't be a fire. By its nature, there won't be fire. It's not who you are. You're you're trying hard. I don't want to. You're not on fire. I want to say that what produces a yid like this, who hears it's not right and he's gone. He's on fire. It's not right. Where'd he go? He's already by his field. He runs like a sprinter, like a world-class sprinter. And he says to the chevra, stop. What produces a yid like this is he says, aruch lo aruch. It's more than just performance of Torah and mitzvahs. Is this the right way Hashem wants me to live? I'm connected to this. This matters to me. It's not just mutter, aser, I get in trouble. You're not in trouble. It's doch mutter. I care about this. I have a connect. This means something to me. Aruch lo aruch produces a yid who functions with fire. And I want to say about our Kabbalah Satar, this is what I want to say to the chevra here. I want to say that, of course, we have halachas, we have a Shulchan Aruch, we have Torah and mitzvahs, we have law. I want to say that you and I are capable of connecting to Torah and mitzvahs, of finding that space that it matters to us. Aruch lo aruch, what's right, what's true, what's ernst. The word erlichkeit was a big word by my Rabbi. I think there's an akuda that I've thought about since his Patira. There's an akuda of lifnim mishur sadin, above the law, like extra frumkeit. You not just keep the law. I think there's something deeper. You actually connect to the law, and you want to live with it. You want to be one with it. There's something more than just not messing up, not getting in trouble, which is a madrega that I don't want to make fun of. But I think there's a generation that wants to connect to Torah and mitzvahs. They want it should mean something to me. Living like that, he's saying, I don't just want to know, is it asur or mutter? Certainly, if it's asur, I'm not going to do it. But aruch or lo aruch, even if it's mutter, is this the right way? There's an ernstkeit, there's an emestigkeit, there's a truthfulness, there's a sincerity. There's something that means something to me. When it means something to you, you don't ask just asur or mutter. I want to be a living embodiment of Torah and mitzvahs. You find it in yourself. I relate to this. This means something to me. That observance creates, that type of attitude creates a tremendous zaras, creates somebody who's possessed, who's on fire. This means something to him. It produces this rizus. Aruch or lo aruch, is it right? I actually feel there's a halach here. Something about it doesn't feel right. It's doch mutter, but I'm not just looking mutter us. I'm looking. It's a chasidus. What Hashem's into, and I wanna relate to this. Is something about this. Is this beseder? He comes to us by tzaddik. Something doesn't feel like this is the picture Hashem wants, and I'm interested in that. I'm interested in the ruach hadvarim. I connect. This means something to me. I think people can have this with davening. Certainly, there's a madrega. A guy doesn't miss a prayer. There's a certain streak. That's an asur or mutter mahalach. But there's also a way that a person becomes ani tefillah. This means something to me. Prayer matters to me. I connect to this. This is meaningful to me. This is something important in my life. I'm trying to become something. There's a word, we use the word ben Torah. It's a very beautiful word, and we're all looking to be b'nei Torah. Our entire people, such an interesting expression of a bara raisa. A ben Torah. A ben Torah means a profound connection. Yisrael v'Raisa chadu. The Yid and the Torah are one. I would say when my Rebbe learned Torah, when he performed mitzvahs, that I would say there was a profound connection to Torah. He was somebody who connected to Torah, related to Torah, understood Torah, and felt that there was a deep Yisrael v'Raisa chadu. I think such a person asks, aruch or lo aruch. In wanting to be an embodiment of Torah, I don't just want to know, is it asur or mutter? I want to understand the Torah. I want to have a pshat in it. I want to relate to it. And I think that produces somebody who functions with a fire, with a passion, with the chayos of the person who's not just defensively, not breaking laws, or just trying to pick up some credit by doing, which is precious, both those yidden. I'm not mocking such yidden, but I'm presenting a yid who's aruch or lo aruch. And I wanted to share before Shavuos this possibility of being mikabel Torah in a way that the yid really wants to get it and relate to it, and it means something to them. I want to describe, we're learning a piece of Gemara here, and in giving over this pshat, one of my favorite activities, one of the best things, my Rebbe said shmuzim, I love when he read a Gemara to us. And I saw the way he studied a Gemara. You heard him give, when he learned the Gemara, it was probably in speeches my favorite things when he learned the Gemara. I saw the way he thought about the Gemara, the way he put his thoughts into the Gemara and connected and processed the Gemara. You saw him he was very, very poetic, very creative, very interesting, and his whole thought process, he connected to the Gemara in a deep way. And he put his own way, his own perspective, and it merged with what the Gemara was saying, him and the Gemara. That's all part of, I could picture, I'd never heard him study this Gemara. I don't believe I heard him study this Gemara. But the way we're studying, the way I'm trying to right now picture this Gemara, the way I'm viewing the Gemara, the Aruch LaNer, based on an Aruch LaNer, but really trying to be there, to experience the Gemara, to relate and connect, is the very word I'm saying on Torah and mitzvahs. It's the very behavior of Torah and mitzvahs that we're shaykh. to not just put on tefillin and make sure we're shaykh actually at the tefillin experience. We could study about tefillin. We could relate to tefillin. Of course, putting it on. And of course, there's a lot to be part of our avoid. I don't want einshim. I want scharf putting on tefillin. Those are wonderful thoughts. But we're also shaykh to be people that are tefillin wearers, that the tefillin means something to me, that it says something to me, it talks to me. The mitzvah actually is like precious and means something. We say the word ben Torah, it means that you've connected, the Torah created you, that it means you have a deep and profound relationship to Torah. Yisrael v'Arai Sacharu. It means something to you. Somebody called up for my wife and I had a conversation with somebody about shidduchim, and a girl mentioned she wants a guy who never misses minyan. And I asked, let's say a guy never misses, but it's like robotic, he's afraid. You have somebody who once in a blue moon misses, but tefillah, prayer means something. Which do you want? So no, I want the one it means something to. This goal, and we want to always be there for prayer, and it means something. I'm not saying it has to be a choice. What I am saying is that we're shaykh to be people that can ask, aruch haylo aruch, not asur or mutter. That we're shaykh for such bechinas, to such relationship to Torah and mitzvahs. It takes more careful work. It's working slowly and carefully. We know what a friendship looks like. My children and I speak a lot about this, and I'm trying to describe somebody who has a relationship to Torah and mitzvahs. Did you ever have a newlywed guy, Manny, a newlywed guy, I've seen this, that a guy wants his wife to be friend with a different wife and forces the issue. Those never work. He's married, his friends you have to be friends. Friendships don't work like that. They're developed. They're built. You have to have time. Often in yeshiva, a youngster comes to yeshiva and day one, he wants to be close. Relationships don't work. That never happens. They develop, they're built, shared experience, and slowly, we're shaykh with Torah and mitzvahs. The Yid and Torah and the Yid and mitzvahs could be this deep, healthy, profound relationship that the Yid has this deep connection to, and it means something. It's a different avodah. I think I'll call it the aruch haylo aruch avodah. It's an avodah that the Yid mamish, this means something to me more than beyond asur or mutter. Punished or not? This Yid didn't ask that question, punished or not. He said, I want to be an embodiment of Torah and mitzvahs. I want to Pashut be an embodiment of the Hilchos of Shemitah. I want to get it. What's the picture Hashem wants? There's a sincerity, a connection to something that's deeper than will I be punished or not. That's where the question aruch haylo aruch comes in. And a person lives like that and finds a sincerity and a truth and a deep connection to, the person functions with a zrizus that's wild. He says, lo yaruch, the Yid's gone, because he's so tied, he's so connected to what he's doing. It means something to him. The Yid's flying, the Yid runs to do it. That's the first thing I wanted to share on this Leil Shishi. I want to share something else with the Chevra. Before I want to share the Memches Kinyanei Torah. There are 48 Kinyanei Torah, and Yidden are busy in this man before Pesach. From Pesach to Shavuos, we're learning Masechtas Avos. And we're preparing for Kabbalah Torah from Pesach to Shavuos. And there's many Yidden that learn the Kinyanei Torah in this time. They learn the 48 Kinyanei Torah in these days from Pesach to Shavuos. One of the Kinyanei Torah is Makiras Mekaymai. Now, the simple pshat of Makiras Mekaymai, somebody could say to recognize their place. So we're told a lot in our life, like stay in your lane. If a youngster speaks up and they're adults, they excuse me, young man, recognize this is not your place. Somebody's aggressive at a time they're not supposed to be, speaks up. So that's what we say, Makiras Mekaymai. And there's certainly such a mashmais to Makiras Mekaymai. But part of Makiras Mekaimai that is certainly meant, you can only speak out of place if you have a place. Often in a family you have one child who seems to be getting in everybody's space, interrupting. Often you say, what are you doing? It's your sister's room. Often what's happening is they don't have their space. So you can't tell a person, you're in somebody else's space. You could say, stay in your space. Do I have a space? Makiras Mekaima is that every single yid is essential and important and has a space. That's what Makiras Mekaima means. A person recognizes the step one of Makiras Mekaima is that we have a space. We are necessary in a healthy tzibur. Every single yid is valuable and counts, has an essential role that matters a lot, and is celebrated for their role, for what they are, and is completely essential. That's Makiras Mekaima. And it's one of the kinyanei atayras, Makiras Mekaima, a person to recognize their spot, that I have a space in this overall service of Hashem. I have a space, I have an importance, I am necessary. And certainly we need it for ourselves to be Makiras Mekaima. Each of us to recognize that we have a space in Avodas Hashem, in importance, and to help another person have space also. That they're needed, they're necessary, they're avodah, to give another person a space, to help another yid be Makiras Mekaima, to recognize he has a space, and a need and an importance, and this person's avodah is essential. Their own corner matters a lot. That's Makiras Mekaima. I want to say on this Kinyan HaTorah, our achrayus as a people, our achrayus as an ummah, to recognize for ourselves the space that we need and to give another person a space also. I've said this a lot since Simchas Torah. We're all Klal Yisrael's in a difficult predicament, and the start of the predicament is there's some Yidden. There are 100 Yidden, 100 plus, 130 Yidden, 135 Yidden that are captured right now. And our whole nation is davening, and we have an army fighting because some Yidden are captured, and every Yid counts. That's what's being said now. That's the sugya we're in the middle of, is we're not being mevater on one Yid. It's the sugya. I think it's like silly. You could daven, but you're not like touching this. That is the sugya of Klal Yisrael right now. There are 135 Yidden. We're not letting go. The ganze Welt saying, what are these stubborn Jews? Stop! Genug. Stop! The world's trying, and many Yidden are thinking, well, maybe we should stop already. Many Yidden are thinking, as each country and another guy, guys, stop already, stop. You got them back enough. Genug, you got your nekama, you punish them, and beseder, they're good shilas. I'm not talking the political ramifications, but there's good shilas. Stop already, genug. Stop already. Now there's room to sort of mean stop. They're going to do it again. So then you could clear. But there's a very simple thing that's a truth. There are 135 Yidden underground that are being held by the enemy. And we're not willing to be mevater on one. We're not willing. We're not willing to be mevater on one. We want Sasha. There's a guy, Sasha's being held, a Yid, a precious Yid. There's no extras in our people. There are no extras. It's our sugya right now. I think somebody not to be holding here, this is our sugya, if it's repetitious. Rabbi Zon was talking at his Seder, that his Seder was all about this topic. The topic of every Yid's avodah, every Yid's importance, this was like the sugya. To me, it's the sugya of Kol Yisrael. It's our sugya now. The sugya we're all holding is there's 135 Yid. Now, we're not masking. We're not. Many other ummas would make calculations, but say, okay, so you leave them behind. I'm sorry, not our people. It's not how we run. There's no extra. There's nobody we're willing to do away with. There's the famous Gemara. It's a famous story in Nach. It always bothered me, this story, from young ages. It always bothered the story with Shlomo HaMelech. The two ladies come with an argument. Is the baby, they each had a child. One child survived, one child was nifter, and they argue which is the mother of the live child. And Shlomo HaMelech famously says, cut the baby in half. And the mother, who's the real mother, says, no, give it to the other one. The other one's masking. It always bothered me. Even for a second, Shlomo HaMelech seeing instincts, there's no yid who would say, yeah, chop the baby in half. There's no such thing. I don't care, real mother or not. The story always bothered me. What's the chachma? And it's pashut by me. I saw one of the great thinkers write this, but it's pashut. There's an aruch l'ner, there's rei, there's Torah. But it's pashut by me that there are many times where people are willing to say, let go of part of the baby. And Yinish Damama means, in Klal Yisrael, there are plenty of times that people are challenged to say, okay. There are plenty of ummas. But the mama doesn't say on anybody, we're willing to let go. And it means it speaks to a people. It speaks to a people that were never willing to say on any part of Klal Yisrael, Beseder. We're just not willing to do that. We're not willing. We're not willing to say that. I hear people talk shilas. Somebody came up to me, you have a class for 70% this, for 30%, all this if you're not the parents. Whenever I hear people talk like this, I cringe. What do you want? I was on the phone with an institution. What do you want? We can't sacrifice the 70% for the... I never heard a parent talk like this. All my kids, there's no such thing. No parent talks like this. That's what Shlomo HaMelech taught. No mom ever says, well, shacht it in half. You could see. I just know when anybody talks like this, what do you want? 70% to 30%. So you're not a tata, and the Torah says, V'shinantam l'vanecha. Sorry. Then you're not the Torah's model. In the Torah's model, there's no conversation like that. There's no such thing. What do you want? I don't know what I want. I just know 100%. We're not mivater. I don't agree. But I don't get it. There's this and there's that. On a family, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. There's no cutting off. There's no such. What should you do? The starting point is we're not cut. We're not willing to cut. And at the point you're willing to cut the baby in half, you nish the mama. And the problem is only a mama could have to be a mama or a tata. So it's called banim. Sorry. At the point you're willing to say, but the 10%, the 90%, it's all shtuyot. Don't fall for that. They're all your banim, sorry. They're all your banai, sorry. There's no such thing. We don't cut in half. We don't give up until we're not mevater. So the makaris mekaima is it's a truth. A yid is needed. A yid is wanted. We're Zaycha here learning the last many nights. Is a beautiful yid who comes to learn Torah with us. Remind me your first name. Mitchell. Reb Mitchell came, Reb David Stein and Reb Mitchell met, and two Yidden banded. Reb Mitchell comes to learn Torah on Thursday nights. I so appreciate you make our chabura. He's the hungriest guy in the room. You watch Reb Mitchell hang on every word. A precious Yid. We're not mivater on one Yid. There's nobody in our people not him. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. We don't say, 90, 10. We have no 70, 30, 90, 10. Anybody talks like that, you just know they're not a tata and a mama. No mother cuts in half. No mother gives up on parts. I saw you to see one of the great thinkers says that's what Shlomo HaMelech was talking about. I knew always from a young kid there's something deeper in the story. And the story is this story. The story is people who are willing to cut in half, chop, 70-30, 80-20, chop, and you're not the mama, you're not the relative, and here Hashem is the Av. They're all my banim. God's not willing to chop in half. He doesn't work like that. And as His people, every single person is essential and necessary and important, and has to be thought about, brought in, given a space. So the Makaris Mekayme has our own task. It has our own task of recognizing that we have a space in Avodas Hashem to take it very, very seriously. Our own Avodah, each and every one of us. There's not just men for Yenim. I don't care if you're 30, 40, 80, 92, 33. We have a space and an importance in the service of Hashem, in the entire Ummah. That's the Mekabel Torah. Our Kiddush Shamayim, our piece of Torah. We all matter a lot. And in terms of giving somebody else a place, that a person has a place here. A person matters. A person is of tremendous importance. So I wanted to speak about that Kinyan HaTorah. There are 48 Kinyan HaTorah. But I think this one our people is like drawn to, that we're all part of something that the world says, just stop already. And we say, sorry, there are 135 people. I don't know what you mean, stop. There's no mashmais. Just let go. I mean, there are a lot of countries, a lot of prisoners, a lot of lost souls. No. There's a people that's not willing to say there are a lot of lost souls. Hold on to that, Rabbi say. But let's live that. Let's live that we're not willing to let go of a soul or two. We're not willing. The mama doesn't let the baby cut in half. No, siree, no part. No, the mama doesn't chuck out little pieces. No chance. We should be zeicher to see that we should recognize our chelak at the Har. We belong at Har Sinai. We belong there. Each and every one of us have a chelak in Torah. Each and every one of us can connect and relate to Torah. We should find our own space at the Har and make room for another Yid also. He belongs at Har Sinai also. Make room for the next one. I want to sing. Let's sing together, Rabbi. If we could sing Va'atem Tiyuli Mamleches Kehanim Megoy Kaddish. If we could sing to Rabbi. You know that one? Perfect. Eviyatem Tiyuli Mamleches Koyanim Tiyuli Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh V'atem Teyoli Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh V'atem Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kadosh V'viyatem V'tiyuli Mamleches Koyanim Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh V'atem Teyuli Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh V'atem Teyuli Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh V'atem Teyoli Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh V'atem Teyoli Mamleches Koyanim V'gai Kodesh. Let's pray for all of Klai. Pray, Yasanach, Yuditzi, you know that one? Revezi, you know the high key, Revezi. V'ya Mech Mi Gavoy Gavaluso Hi Piroy Kyasa Vanach Beimi Pavama Yivasa Ya Bekyasa Ya Bekyasa Mi Gavoy Gavaluso Ya Yamech Tivechad Mi Koluma Hamech Tivechad Mi Koluma Guten Shabbos.